Alright, so good day, everyone. Happy Sabbath.
Happy Sabbath.
Alright, so we are doing this another video. The topic of this one is basically
Personality types and what works with what.
Yeah, and so this is kind of important to know for those who are thinking about getting married, those who are already in relationships, because these things can help you to understand your partner more and also to predict, in a sense, how they will behave. Right? And it can also give you an idea of why you guys have problems, if you guys have problems. And it can also, give you an idea of
what to expect and what to do.
Yeah, and what to do to, probably solve those problems. Understanding more who that person is and also who you are.
Without trying to really change who they are.
Yeah, right? Alright, so we'll get straight into it. So there are 4 personality types. We have the sanguine, the choleric, the phlegmatic, and the melancholic. Alright, so sanguines are the outgoing persons, the life of the party. Right, so sanguines are usually those persons who are always happy. They love to have fun, outgoing.
People
persons. A lot of them are very good at public speaking.
They're energetic.
Yes.
Dramatic.
Yes. Right.
Love the crowd.
Yeah, they love the limelight. Right. And so those are some of the upsides of a sanguine. And sanguines are those persons who they have a lot of friends. They draw people to themselves very easily. Right? And persons tend to love their company because they're just always happy, positive, bubbly,
full of blood. And the blood is the life of the body, so they have a lot of energy in them.
Yeah, and another thing that the reason my wife said blood because they actually liken sanguines to blood, and the different personality types are different elements of the body. So some are likened to bile, yellow bile,
black bile,
phlegmatics,
plasma.
Yeah, but that's some fancy stuff. We don't have to get into that.
But you get what we're trying to say.
Yeah, and they also liken them to the elements as well. Wind, water, fire, earth. Yeah, but anyways, so some of the downsides of persons who are sanguines is that
they can be annoying.
They can be annoying sometimes. They can be overbearing. Always in your face, always have that high energy. And when you want to relax, they don't want to relax. When you want to
go.
Yeah. And when you want peace and quiet, they just like it up there. So sometimes they can be a bit annoying.
They can be naive as well.
Yeah, they tend to be naive because they don't really focus on certain finer details where the social world and the material world is concerned. Right? So yeah, and that can really tick off some persons, especially persons like melancholics, right? But anyhow, another downside for the sanguines is that sometimes they can be very unorganized and messy. Those are the persons who usually, forget things a lot. Oh, I left my key. Oh, I left this. Oh, I can't find this. I can't find that. And some person might find that a bit annoying, right? So nothing is wrong with the sanguine personality as with the rest of them, but it's just that the balance that person would need is somebody in their life that will help them to be more organized,
less blood, less energy.
Yeah, kind of help them to tone that energy down a bit so other persons don't become annoyed. They need somebody to help them to be more responsible, right, and a bit more realistic in their view of life, because they can tend to be a little bit over the top.
And to give others a turn, a chance to show themselves.
To share the limelight.
Right?
Yeah, not always you. Well, as long as it's a party or some joke or it's always me, sometimes I have to give somebody.
Have to lead out, have to be in
Yeah, sometimes I have to give somebody a chance. So the next one that we look at is Colorics. Now, Colorics
is not, to be honest, is not my favorite personality at all.
Yeah.
That's a one thing about me that most persons don't know.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, cholerics are those persons who are very, very task oriented. chances are, if you are an employee, chances are your boss is a choleric. You know, so some of you probably even know right off the bat what I'm talking about. They always want to just get stuff done. It's always about do, right? And yeah, and sometimes, well, let's focus on the strengths. They are natural leaders. You can throw them in a situation, and immediately they get stuff together, they get organized, and they get it done. They're very dependable, right? And they hold themselves to very high standards.
Yes.
So they will not give you mediocre work. They will give you their best, right? And if you have to stay up all night to give you their best, that's what they're gonna do.
They pay attention to details and to logics, what makes
numbers,
sense.
yeah, and colorics, yeah.
They don't have time for fables, you know, for things that are not really necessary.
Yeah, give them the facts, right? And colorics tend to be very successful in the corporate world because of their impeccable work ethic, right? They always get it right, get it done. So they tend to be very successful.
Strong.
Yeah, they're very, and sometimes they can be strong-willed and stubborn, very stubborn. So that's one of the downsides of rude. Yeah, sometimes they can be a bit frank. So unlike other person might go around and say, might just say it to your face, right? And sometimes they don't recognize that.
They're not sensitive about how people feel most times.
Sometimes. So that's one of their weaknesses. Another one of their weaknesses is that they may not necessarily know when to cut down, relax, you know, let down your hair, you know, forget about the work or the school work or
they overwork themselves sometimes.
Yeah, right? And sometimes they can be, some person might see them as a killjoy, right?
Kill the fun.
Kill the fun.
Like somebody say, what's up, man? Listen, I'm on business, it's serious business, I have time for you.
Yeah. Alright, and then the next one phlegmatics. And those folks are the easygoing ones. They're always laid back ones. They try not to let things trouble them.
You don't have a lot of blood dealing with plasma.
They're just cool like a cucumber, you know. Yeah, those are the phlegmatics, and they love peace. They're peacemakers. So if there's colorics and melancholics and sanguines in the room and they're not getting along, they would more likely be the ones that would try to make peace between everybody because they like things nice and easy, calm. And
another thing about them is that because of their ability to cope, they are the ones that tend to, you know, they do not allow what is around them to really bother them. And you have to really do something that really get them off, like out of the blue, out of the norm, to really get them to respond.
They're not easily angered or easily disturbed, right? They're very long suffering, right? So, but the downside of a phlegmatic though is that they can be
very simple.
Yeah, very simple, right? And they can be, sorry to cut you, but they can be a little vacillating. Like instead, like choleric wants it my way, the phlegmatic just wants it anyway. Like they don't really. Sometimes they have a challenge standing up for something.
Yeah, they can be indecisive.
Indecisive, yeah, right. So sometimes that is a
and nothing is wrong with being simple, but the simplicity that we're talking about is really simple in terms of
thinking.
Thinking.
Not necessarily like simply in dress and how you spend your money and how you live. Simply in terms of thinking, right? So sometimes persons might want to take advantage of them because they don't.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Such kind people.
Alright, so the last one are the melancholics.
Yellow bile.
I think it's black bile.
Yeah, black bile.
Yeah.
But the earth represents them.
Yeah, so melancholics are very artistic. When I use my words properly, because artistic is a different phrase altogether. They're very artistic. They love music. A lot of times they can paint, they can draw, they're creative. Melancholics usually incorporates most of the geniuses that we have throughout history. Persons who are deep thinkers. They don't just think about things on the surface. They go deep, right? They reason a lot. But the downside to that though is that
they reason too much.
They think too much, and sometimes it can cause them to have a deep a disposition to depression. They can be easily depressed because they overthink.
And misunderstand
certain things,
persons.
right? Yeah, so they can be a bit emotional as well, more than the average person. So that's one of their weaknesses. They have an eye for detail. They have a good work ethic, like the Coloric, but
they're very loyal.
They're very loyal.
But because of their vulnerability, they get themselves hurt sometimes, and to the point where they can be very unforgiving about it.
Yeah, because of they have a lot of emotions going. They are usually more romantic type of people, but they also, as my wife said, can be very unforgiving if they are hurt, right?
And we know this is not across the board, but this is just the general aspect of things.
How they are. Alright, so so when it comes down to attraction, it's because the phlegmatics just want it anyway, and they're just the peacemakers. It's best phlegmatics will work well, or will work okay at least with colorics. So even though the other personalities might find a challenge working with a coloric who usually wants things their way, who wants it done this way, and they have just keep going, the phlegmatic will just say, okay, if you want it done, you can do it this way. So they tend to give each other ways, like they complement each other in a sense, right?
And sometimes I remember that this is not the ideal, because persons are attracted to different, who they want to be attracted to, right? Because sanguines like it the fun way, phlegmatic wants it anyway, coloric wants it their way, and melancholic wants it the right way.
Yeah.
So some phlegmatics are attracted to sanguines, some phlegmatics are attracted to melancholics, but in terms of what works well, as he said.
Yeah, what kind of works well is for the phlegmatics would work better with colorics than the other two personalities.
Because of their ability, because of their humility, or their tranquility, the colorics tend to find them easier to work with and sometimes to use. So,
well, we don't want to go on the use part because we're referring to good-hearted people, but colorics, they don't do very well with being challenged. It's not that you can't challenge them depending on who we're dealing with, but if you're gonna challenge them, it's best if you challenge them in a calm, controlled, respectful way, right? So, and phlegmatics tend to do that more efficiently in general than other personality types. Sanguines are best
by themselves,
with their kind, even though many times they need persons to offset their weaknesses, their untidiness, their irresponsibleness, and stuff like that, but they tend to enjoy people like themselves who are just upbeat and keep going, and so nobody is telling the other one to hush up and be quiet, and so they tend to like that more, right?
Because sometimes sanguine's energy, if you're not really the one to basically elevate it, sometimes your energy can be drowned, so they don't like anybody to try to drown it or steal away, suck up any of their energies, so they prefer to really associate with persons of like mind.
And same with the melancholics, they would prefer to deal with other melancholics who think the way how they think, right? Because they're very
picky,
meticulous, very picky.
Yeah.
So if you are just a person, you don't care about the details, then a melancholic might find a little challenge with that. But the thing though is that even though they're personality types that persons might favor, but sometimes that's not the best person for you, because the best person for you is the person that God selects, and God knows the imbalances that we have, and He knows the kind of person that will help you to
be your best self, to
grow, and those weak points to get stronger in those weak areas, right? So as it close, knowing this will help us to know how to deal with our partner depending on which quadrant they fall in. And no person is completely choleric or completely sanguine or completely melancholic, etc. We all have percentages of each of these traits, but most persons have a leading quadrant that they're mostly sanguine, or they're mostly choleric, or they're mostly phlegmatic. Right? And knowing these differences, as you said, are very important. So you can know what to expect from your partner and know if this is something that is just a thing that they saw their friends do while they're doing it, or is this a part of them? And can I expect this thing to change in the next 5 years, or is this who they are? And if this is who they are, how do I approach it? Right? And also help you to understand yourself as well, so you know what you like and what you don't like, right? So
just in closing, Jesus had a perfect blend of the personalities. You know, one man being able to be flexible with all four. So that goes that we should strive to, you know, blend with all the personality types. I, for one, I believe that I am a sanguine phlegmatic with a slight little melancholic. I think he's a
melancholic phlegmatic.
Yeah, you know, you can do a test, preferably the ones that have a lot of questions.
Not the 10 question
Not
ones,
the 10
but the
questions.
long ones, like 70 questions, 80 questions. Yeah.
So
alright, so yeah, that's it for this video. So make sure to like,
share, and
subscribe,
and click the notification bell.
and we'll see you guys in our next
And
video.
thanks for the
allowing us to reach 65 subscribers.
thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Continue to support.
and we have more content coming your way, God's will. Alright guys, have a good one.